美国在上世纪60年代兴起的民权运动，迄今已有60年了。今年8月28日，将是马丁·路德·金牧师发表著名演讲《我有一个梦想》的60周年纪念日。60年来，人们一直在为实现这个梦想而努力。今天，我们更需要来为此付出努力。因为种族不公的问题依然是今天美国的一大社会问题。
几个月之前，我就跟我的家人在 Santa Monica 吃晚饭，然后我记得那个时候我们吃完那个晚饭以后，我们就是回去停车场拿车的时候，有一个就是精神不太正常的一个非亚裔的人，就是对我们喊，就是说滚回你的国家，就是贬低我们亚裔的一些言行。因为是晚上，所以其实我们也有点害怕，所以那个时候我们就没有就是回他那个反应，我们就直接走了这样子。所以其实这种言行的歧视的行为，其实我觉得我来了美国10多年都是经常都会遇到的一些问题。
华人平权行动组织近来报道了近11500起反亚裔仇恨事件，许多亚裔受到严重影响，尤其是自新冠疫情爆发以来，政客的污名化语言、媒体对华人非人化的形象，以及越来越多的反亚裔仇恨犯罪，这也再次向我们亚裔敲响了警钟。我们需要通过自己的行动来为美国解决种族歧视问题起到积极的促进作用。
In the events that we have ignorant people that really do display that racist activity or racism, as it were, my feeling is that you try to avoid it. There's no changing the minds typically if you're in an encounter with folks, so if you can avoid it, that's probably the best tact. But if you're in a situation where it's something that you can't avoid, I suggest that you contact the police, especially if it's a confrontation or something like that, and let the police come out and at least be there to provide for the safety so we can solve whatever the problem is. Sometimes a situation may have something to do with race and it is not based in racism, but sometimes it's kind of not clear for the couple of people that are involved. So sometimes it's good to get somebody out there, a third party, to just kind of take a look and kind of be a barometer for where the conversation is going and try to fix that. As far as the language capabilities are concerned, here at the police department, we have the ability to provide interpreters if there's any misunderstandings. We have an AT&T interpreter line that we use where we can get interpreters on the line for any language immediately. And so sometimes we certainly want to avoid there being any misunderstanding because the language isn't understood or because there's some type of language barrier. So ideally we want to get somebody there or at least engage someone who understands the language.
As the Assembly member for the 49th Assembly District, we know that there's more work to be done to denounce hate in the San Gabriel Valley and throughout California. A recent survey recently showed that 1 out of 3 residents experienced some form of hate incidents. So we need to do more to provide resources to our community groups. We just came from a town hall meeting in a few miles from here where we convened 40 Asian American nonprofit groups to talk about these very specific issues around anti-Asian hate and how we can provide resources to victims and their families and to community members, and also how we can make sure that law enforcement is reporting these hate incidents so that we can track this information, whether it's here in the San Gabriel Valley, whether it's here in Southern California, or throughout our state. We know that information is so critical to tracking hate crimes, and we need to know if and where these hate crimes are happening. So working closely with our local law enforcement officials and local nonprofit agencies, we've been in contact with many nonprofits in Southern California. The legislature, in partnership with the governor, passed the API equity budget, about $160 million a couple of years ago, and now the state of California is distributing grants to nonprofit organizations that are working on anti-Asian hate issues and working with case management, working with social workers, working with different nonprofits to make sure that if and when an anti-Asian hate incident happens, that we have the information out there, that we're getting this information out there. So there's more work to be done to denounce anti-Asian hate here in California. We need to denounce hate in all form and rhetoric.
Here at Church of Our Savior, we have tried our very best in this time to engage with efforts to dismantle racial discrimination. We have held classes in our Chinese and English congregations addressing white fragility and Asian discrimination and Asian hate. But that's just the beginning. We have had many conversations with one another attempting to create a safe place where we can name what is not happening. We can name what is happening. And we can name what should happen. But we need to create more safe places. We need to create more safe conversations. We need to expand the circle of people participating in this conversation, because this work will never end. This work will never be complete until we all live into the full stature of Christ we are called in our baptismal covenant.
我们作为这个社会的成员，作为我们社区的一份子，应该如何发挥我们的所能，防止这种仇恨和罪恶抬头，使正义、公平和公义在我们的社会流行，把我们所生活的地方建设成应该充满爱的社区。圣公会圣盖博救主堂和开路者国际传播协会共同制作了这个系列录像。我们希望通过我们的这个系列，让我们对华人在美国的历史和现状有一个了解。通过采访教会领袖、民意代表、地方政府官员、执法人员、法律专家和社区人员，来帮助我们知道应该如何来面对和回应种族不公的问题，尽我们的能力和义务，把我们的社区变得更好，让爱而不是仇恨充满我们的社区。